You imagine that stuffed with pastry cream, whipped cream, chocolate cream, jam and cream, anything like that. Absolutely superb. And then dipped in chocolate. Wow, come on. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're making choux pastry. Pastry for eclairs, peripherals, anything like that. So easy to make. You know, I was really stumped with this when I first saw this all those years ago, and it's so easy. Let's make it. In here, look, in this pan, a little bit of water, a little bit of salt. Did I chuck all that over there? Let's chuck some over there. Okay. In there with some butter. Put the flame on. Okay, and we bring this to a boil. It's a not so stressful recipe actually, it's quite easy. You boil all that up, bring it to a boil, just turn it down a little bit. We chuck in our flour, you know, because it's going to puff up. You know, the flour is going to expand in there. So we just take it nice and steady. Let's get it done. Now you could always melt the butter in there first and chuck the water in, but it doesn't really matter, you know, because obviously when this heats up the butter's going to melt anyway. So it doesn't matter which way around you do it, and don't be told it has to be any particular way. It doesn't. Just chuck it all in and melt it. And we're going to do everything by hand. We're not using a mixer or anything today. Everybody can make this. You know, I'm quite a sucker for peripherals here. I absolutely love them. The 7-Elevens sell these little small ones full of a pastry cream, and they are delicious. So look, we've got some melted butter swimming around in that water, and it's coming up to the boil. That's what we're looking at. It's as easy as that. Now you can boil it for any length of time, it doesn't matter. The longer you boil it, you evaporate more water, so it's not worth keep going. Flour in there. See it froth up. You be careful. I always turn it down a little bit just to cook this in there. And all we do is cook it in. Now I've got my flame on low. Some people turn the flame off. Now we turn the flame off and just stir it round. Incorporate all that flour. Now you can take it off the heat and do this as well. It doesn't matter. Whatever, and I'll do it this way, look, whatever is easier for you, do it. All we're doing is making sure there are no lumps of flour in there. That is all we're doing. So don't worry which way you do it, and then you get this, which is absolutely red hot, by the way, so don't get it on you. Okay, that's easy. Right, just spread it out in the pan. What we're trying to do is cool it a little bit. Now we don't want it to cool down completely, we want it pliable. You know, if you let it cool down completely, you end up with quite a nice Play-Doh. However, we just want it to cool a little bit, and we're going to start cracking our eggs in there one at a time, and we're going to beat them in. Now if I was using a mixer, I would throw all the eggs in. Now when you start putting the eggs in here, it's all runny and mushy, but it absorbs, and you keep going until you've finished all your eggs, and you end up with a nice smooth runny type pastry. And that's what we need to actually pipe onto our lined tray. See, I haven't got my oven on yet, so put your oven on. Must be on about 200 degrees, somewhere around about there. That's about 400 F. Okay, that's got it. We want to be cracking an egg in at one egg at a time, and we are just going to beat that in nice and steady. So it's just a case of let's have that in there. Now be careful when you're slapping it around. It's going to go everywhere. Oh, let's move this. Let's move this cooker while we do this. Let's have another one in there. Now don't worry what it looks like. We don't have to rush for this. We're just going to beat it in. Just take your time. Don't forget it's going to be clumpy because it's full of flour. You know, don't worry. It's nice and steady. In with another one. You know, I've seen some people put this on the flame to warm it back through again, you know, a little bit as they're doing this. It's completely pointless, to be quite honest, because if it's made commercially, it's made in a big mixer. You know, it ain't made like this, and they ain't taking what comes out of the mixer and putting back in a pan. So let's dispel that myth. I suppose it's what you get used to, you know, what you want to do, you know. Now, what I will say that I've seen done, I've seen a little bit of water added to this to make a crispier batter when it cooks. So that is a genuine tip. We're not going to do it, we're just going to mix this up and chuck it in. We're only making a few. That looks super. I'm sure there's some lumps and bumps in there, but hey, we're not going to worry about that, are we? So grab yourself a piping bag. Stand it on something that you can whack that lot in. And we want to put that in there. Okay, grab yourself a tray lined. Now you can do the old did stick it down if you so wish. That's up to you. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So we want to be piping on there. Don't make it too difficult. There you go, we got all that in there, look. Give it a little twist up here. Now, the thing is with this, we actually want it quite a decent opening on the end. So we need to be cutting that end off there. Nice and steady. And we do that. And that's all it is really, a blob of that stuff on there. Now that's probably too close actually, but hey, we're only doing small ones. And if you want some eclair type ones, on there. Now they say you have to take some water on your fingers and on the top of there, like that, to stop that thing from coming up and burning, they say. Right, let's whack that in the oven. Okay, they're in. We're in for about 25 minutes, something around about there, 20-25 minutes. Those things are going to puff up in there. Those things are too close, so they're going to join. Okay, when you got a little bit of colour on like that, look at those. Now, what you need to do, prick those. Now, the reason you prick them is they're steaming inside. In there. Ooh. Turn it over, look. In there. In there. Oh, they are beautiful. So what we got to do now is just put that back in there and leave the oven door ajar. And we leave that for about 10 minutes. Okay, we've had about, well, I don't think we've had 10 minutes, but that doesn't matter. Come on, let's get those out of there. Oh. And that's what we're looking at. They look fantastic. Now you can leave them on there. Oh, we want them to cool down completely, so we won't bung them on this rack. Nice and steady. Super hollow and lightweight. There you go, look at those. So there you are, that's how to make perfect choux pastry every time. And if we just take this one, because it's a little bit of an odd shape, and we open it up, you don't even have to cut it, you can just rip it apart, and you will see in there how light, how fluffy, how hollow that is. You imagine that stuffed with pastry cream, whipped cream, chocolate cream, jam and cream, anything like that, absolutely superb, and then dipped in chocolate. Wow, come on. Delicious. Perfect every time. So there you go, that's simple, easy to make choux pastry. It's light, it's delicious, it just melts in your mouth. Cover it in cream, cover it in chocolate. Wow. If you like what we're doing, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make choux pastry. If you do like what we're doing, a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. I'm going to fill these full of cream and I'm going to fill my face.